Boom. What's up, y'all? What's up? Ah, wanted to just go live real quick. Read over some material where everybody chilling. Hopefully, if it's too late and people can see this live, they can go back and read it. Listen to it tomorrow morning. But we was having a discussion over on the Masi about how do the pseudo killers basically dissect their information and reach their conclusions. They was asking, what is our methodology? All right. And what's the purpose of our channel? So if y'all didn't catch that show, I want to summarize what the pseudo killers, what our goal is for the community and for our show. All right. And then we'll get into some reading to see how we go about doing what we do. So firstly, I'll say that most of the time before we talk about a subject, we done already read source material on the information. Most of our discussions spiral out of control because of the way that we run the platform. So a lot of the times we don't even get to pull up our sources because we jump around on the topic. I said this before that most of the time, by the time we hit the live button, we done already vetted our sources and argued ad nauseum about it. So we be done with the conversation before we even hit the live button most of the time. So we be so exhausted that we don't even pull up the damn source material no more when we go live and we start talking about other stuff because we exhaust ourselves with the topics in the back chat. And we got to stop doing that as much. So, but we do read lots of articles. We download a lot of PDF books and we read through those source materials. We pick up different books from Barnes and Noble, order them, right? And all of the times, all of us don't buy the books, right? One or two people might buy the books, read them, right? Screenshot different chapters, send it to each other. You know what I mean? We watch videos, right? And we are subscribed to most of the online journals. All right. So we get to information very fast. The internet and a lot of people down Googling, right? But don't let nobody down Google to you, right? Google is a search engine. Mostly everything that we discuss things that you can pull up right on your cell phone. We don't have no secret information. I'm gonna say that again. The pseudo killers does not deal in secret information or hard to get to information. We deal with the information that's readily available to mostly everybody at their fingertips. So when people are talking about the pseudo killers are not reading and these people are talking about they done brought all of these books, and I'm not knocking none of that, but you can get the information very fast in 2022, right? You can pull up with the scholars and the consensus on certain subjects right on the internet, right? So our research method is a little bit faster, right? They call it microwave information and barbershop talk. I am a barber. So that is one of my methods of dealing with the information. A lot of times in the barbershop, people bring pseudo claims that I have to deal with on the spot. I don't have time in the barbershop or in passing to talk about 10 different books that I read on the subject. I have to be there to disprove pseudo claims on the spot with what I have in my hand. And at most of the time, only thing I have in my hand is my goddamn iPhone. And most pseudo claims you can disprove in a matter of minutes with a goddamn cell phone that have internet service. All right. So the pseudo killers, we are arriving at conclusions and consensus that the experts have arrived at on said subjects. And it's easy to get those conclusions right from the internet, Googling. So we don't have a problem with that. Most people, we feel like most people can be pseudo killers. Most people have the tools to be pseudo killers in their pockets at all times, right? We're not saying that you have to be super scholars and reading 50 different books. The online journals that we subscribe to, you know what I mean? We always tell y'all can subscribe to Nature, right? The New England Journal of Medicine. Is just so many different resources that you can subscribe to. Science Mag, Nature, you know what I mean? Net Geo is fucking awesome. You know, in different publications. And most of these things have online periodicals, right? I know Nature, you can pull that right up on your phone. Net Geo, you can pull it right up on your phone. What else? Let me see where my phone at. So we definitely can arrive at this. Yep. We definitely can arrive at the information fast in 2022. And the pseudo killers are going to keep pushing that, because wherever you go, whether you're on the subway, you get into a conversation, you can pull stuff up on your cell phone right then and there. Can't nobody trick you in 2022, right? If somebody says something that don't sound correct to you, you can pull it up on your cell phone immediately. So, you know, the claim that we microwave information, no, we're using modern technology and the resources that's available, so we don't have to get bogged down in long conversations where we have to do long research projects. Most of the things that we talk about is already vetted and expounded upon by the experts in those fields already. And we can pull up what they're saying, you know what I mean, right there on the spot. So, I mean, don't let people trick you. Don't let people tell you that the pseudo killers is not doing the work, right? We're doing the work that everybody can do. And I think that's the best thing about our channel. We are doing the everyday research that everybody can do. You can sit at your cubicle at work, pull out your cell phone, and do the basic research that we do every day. You can do it, you know what I mean, at a goddamn red light. You can pull up source information right there at your fingertip. So our channel is showing us how to not, like say, get caught up in misinformation, to not get caught up in a cult, right? We're not living in the 80s or the early 90s anymore. We carry the World Wide Web in our pockets every day, 24/7. And yes, you can get damn good information. top-notch information right off the goddamn internet from your goddamn in the palm of your hand. In the palm of your hand. Yes, you can Google your way into an argument. Yes, you can Google your way into defeating pseudo claims. Yes, you can Google your way into correcting information. Yes, you can. And I learned this from, I'm kind of old school, right? So I come from the school of reading the books, but dealing with Vance and them, man, Vance and Kent and them, man, they have libraries, right, worth of videos, right, that they've been shown. Man, they put videos in a goddamn podcast episodes and different things in our chat, right? And I can, while I'm at work, I don't have to read 30 books, right? We have Audible, right? We can download the books and listen to them while we are working all day, right? We can put different points in our notes, right? We can go, we got this new thing that we're on right now that we paid for. Let me go to it because I want everybody to get this masterclass, right? We paid for the masterclass thing, and what it is, it's basically a podcast of different experts in different fields, right? Talking about the things that they teach. So we have Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? He has a master class on this app, man, and he talks about, right, how to become more scientifically literate in 2022. We have who else is on here? Let me see. Hold on. Let me get this. All right. and there's we have, all right, they have different categories, right, that you can pick from. And there's so many different subjects in here. But the main ones we be tuning into is Bill Nye, the science guy, right? Because he talk about how to make you think more scientific, right? So Bill Nye, he got 13 lessons in the master class, right? Fire, it's all fire. We have Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? He has 13 lessons. All right. One of the best ones that I've listened to in Neil deGrasse Tyson lessons is he has one called Banishing Bias, right? So he's showing you that we all have biases and how to get around those biases. Excellent, right? How to think more scientific. Who else? Let me see. So you can just go to science on the masterclass. But I encourage everybody, right, to fork over that little bit of money and get the masterclass thing. Now, the pseudo killers, since we're a group, we got it together. So we put our little money together and we got it. I think it was like $100-something. I don't remember. You know what I mean? Whatever they say get, I just send my money and they send me the links to the journals and all of that, and we can just log in, you know what I mean, under our account. So we work together on it. But I'm saying, y'all be talking to each other in the chat. Y'all can build little study groups together in the chat for people who, you know, have a like mind with y'all. I encourage y'all to go into the Discord server, right, and build your own little cliques and communities within the back chat, and y'all can put together and buy these different courses, right? Like use each other, definitely. I'm about to send this link out. I know everybody tired. Chris Hadfield has a good goddamn course, right? And he got 29 lessons, right? And he's an astronaut, and he talks about, spacewalking, living on Mars, different things. Very good. Dr. Jane Goodall, right? She talk about living with chimpanzees, right? Um, excellent course, excellent course, right? She got like 29 lessons on there. So yeah, it's called Masterclass. Get it. And these are things that Vance and Unc and them that help me up my game up, right? I can go to Audible. I can they can put different links, different podcasts and videos and different things where I don't have to read hours worth of books. I could either listen to the book, right? Or I can listen to podcasts or different videos and lectures and even debates and learn from them. And I'm talking about lectures, debates, and videos from the experts, right? So a lot of times where I would take all of the time that to be having to read these subject matters, right? Now, while I'm working for hours, I be have my headphones on and I'm listening to the information, downloading it into my mind while I'm working. So you can get information fast as hell in 2022. And these are the ways that the pseudo killers is working now. This is how we're researching in 2022. This is how we're downloading and processing the information in 2022. We not John Henry Clark or Dr. Ben, right? We don't have to have a million books, right, on our, cluttering our house. That shit is a fire hazard, for real, for me. You know what I mean? I like to download PDFs, right? So anytime I can get something on a PDF, right, I like to get it on a PDF. I have an iPad Pro, right? That's a damn near 13-inch screen iPad. It's bigger than most people, the same size as most people's laptops. That's how big my iPad is. And I have a smaller iPad that I carry around with me. So all of my PDFs and my books and everything is right on there. And they download to my phone. So even if I'm in the car and I let my girlfriend drive, I can go and pull up a book right on my phone, right? I don't have to lug 20 books around with me. I have them all on my devices, right? From my biggest devices down to my smallest devices. Now, what I'm saying is you can carry your libraries with you nowadays, right? You don't have to be a bodybuilder to carry your information around. You can carry your information around on your goddamn smartphone. Step your games up. That's what the pseudo killer's doing right now. But I'm gonna send this link out. I know y'all like this boy is just rambling, but I want to do a reading first. I want to do a reading of the Fukiao Bantu cosmology of the Congo people and how they what their cosmology was. And then I'm gonna read the Big Bang Theory, right? And I want to see if y'all see the parallels, because I don't see the parallels. But they claim that the Bantu cosmology then paralleled certain aspects of the Big Bang Theory. I don't see the parallels. Maybe I'm illiterate. I went to Baltimore public schools, right? So maybe it's me, right? So we'll see. Hold on. But let me say what's up to everybody in the chat. And hopefully I don't go too long. Let me see who up in here. Let me see who up in here first. Boom. All right. Let me see who up in here. Make sure we ain't crazy. He said, all right, let me see. Vasa, what's up? Good work earlier too, Vasa. You Vasa be sending me links and everything. You know what I mean? Always, I appreciate you. Anytime I mess up, you know, Vasa, definitely jump in my inbox and send me different articles and links. So, you know, I got a strong Lord, you know what I mean, click that be backing me up and helping me out when I when I'm on point. They send me stuff that, you know, keep me going in the right direction. And when I'm off a little bit, they send me shit to get me back on track. So, you know what I mean? Danny, what's up? Omar, what's up? Bat, you're Nzinga, what's going on? Okay, and Zenga said, I think it is important we address issues when it comes to the African American culture. I totally agree. Ricardo, what it do? Corey, what up? Hit the link. If you ain't already in bed with your woman, you know what I mean? Shrugs, what's going on? Scientific fiction piece. Tuck Mayat, what's the deal? Goddamn Chiefs let us down. It was horrible. I'm still sick right now. Yeah, man. Jaborn Dark Light, what it do? You dig what I'm saying? The Don said look like I'm about to start reading tarot cards. I'm about to if I can make some money. You dig what I'm saying? I don't have no problem with that. So without further ado, if ain't nobody gonna hit the link, Pseudo Killers is tapped out on me. But that's cool. You know what I mean? I'm a one-man army, a song. All right, let me share this screen. Let me share this screen. Boom. Pop. All right. All right, let's get out of that. Let's go to my man, Fuki. Let's get to my man, Fuki. All right, this is on page 22. All right, wait for this to come up. All right, here we go. Mapping the universe. For the Bantu people, the Congo in particular, the universe as we see and know it is the result of the primitive event that occurred in and around it, well known as Luku, Lawamba, and Zambi, God cooked dough, the magmatic matters, the Big Bang. That's 1969 Fukuyama. All right. He says, it is the result of an expanding fire process that leaves behind through a cooling process, nigodolo, satellites, and planets. It is the process of the cosmic expanding fires. According to the Congo teachings, our planet Earth was the starting point of this fire in our solar system. Did y'all hear that? Put a pin in that. It says that our Earth was the starting point of this fire process in our solar system. I don't know if y'all get what he just said. So I'm going to read it again. He called it the God-cooked dough. God-cooked dough. So that's their analogy that they're using for the formation of planets, right? In the solar system, right? They're making an analogy of their God cooking dough or baking, you know what I mean? Or baking dough in an oven, the fire process that created the different orbs and satellites of our solar planets, orbs, satellites that's in our solar system, right? And it says, it is the result of an expanding fire process that leaves behind through a cooling process, satellites and planets. It is the process of the cosmic expanding fires. He says, according to the Congo teaching, our planet Earth was the starting point of this fire in our solar system. Think about that. It says the starting point of this fire process in our solar system. Now, do anybody in the chat know how our solar system was formed? And if you do, we know that our planets or planet Earth wasn't the starting point of our solar system. So this shit is wrong, wrong, wrong. We can stop right here. We know that they don't have no understanding about the goddamn cosmos and how solar systems are formed, right? Or anything. Right there. It's saying that our planet Earth is the starting point of this fire process of our solar system. So are we to believe that I think we talked about this earlier this week, that ancient people didn't have the heliocentric model. Now, according to this, the Congo people didn't have the heliocentric model, because if they wrote this according to Fukuyao, if Fukuyao wrote this from their tradition, then they didn't understand that the damn sun is the center of our goddamn solar system and not the earth. But right here, it is saying that the earth is the starting point, right, of this fire process for our solar system. I mean, stop me when I'm wrong. Like, am I reading this wrong? I can read this over 100 times. It says, according to the Congo teaching, our planet Earth was the starting point of this fire in our solar system. How is planet Earth going to be the starting point of the fire, right, in our solar system? Now, we know that the sun is not on fire. But these people probably thought that the sun was fire, but we know the sun is not fire. The sun is actually nuclear fusion. It's a whole nother point. But whether they knew what the sun was or not, the fact that he said that the Congo believed that the earth was the starting point of this fire process in our solar system, then they must didn't have the heliocentric model. And what is the heliocentric model? The heliocentric model is that the sun, right, is the center of our solar system. They must didn't have this understanding right there. So we then detected at least 4 problems already with this goddamn Congo cosmology. Already in the first 2 paragraphs. In the first 2 paragraphs of the mapping of the universe, I didn't already detected 4 problems. Are y'all with me so far? And somehow they're saying that this merged, right, or paralleled certain aspects of the Big Bang Theory. Where? Show me a parallel. Show me a mirroring of an aspect of the Big Bang Theory in this. I ain't seen one yet. Are y'all with me? Are y'all with me? All right. On the ground of this old Bantu teaching, the universe can be mapped in 3 main layers or zones, depending if it is in green, gray, or red state. I don't even know what that means. I'm gonna read that again. It says on the ground, what ground? On the ground of this old Bantu teaching, the universe can be mapped in 3 main layers or zones, depending if it is in green, gray, or red state. Now let's see what these states are. A, green or breathing planet. Green or breathing planets are living planets because they have completed the 4 great formation stages of the Congo cosmogram known as the Kinga di Congo, Fukiao. The key word to these planets is greenness, the vitality given nature. Green planets, like our own planet, Earth, can be thought of as the planets to our solar systems. I'm sorry, let me read that over. Green planets, like our own planet Earth, can be thought of as the oldest planets to our solar system. The Earth, for example, can be seen for the Bantu people as the oldest planet of the solar system. Green planets occupy the center of systems in our expanding universe. The expanding creative fire energy that departed from the first event or the Big Bang was not an experimental explosion from a laboratory, say the Bantu Congo. It was a natural, call it divine. It was a natural, call it divine, imperative order to bring a transformation process into being through the universe and into all its planets until their full maturity, be able to breathe and give/carry life. To our present knowledge, our planet, the Earth, is the only planet known that has so far fulfilled this order. It is green, breathes, and does not only give life, but is able to sustain it up to now as well. So what they're saying is this, that all of the planets are going to go through the same life cycles, right? And that the Earth that we live on is the first planet in our solar system that completed all of the major stages to reach the green phase of the life phase. So basically, all of the other planets are going to go through the same process as Earth, right? And at different times are going to become green and sustain life also. That is what this is saying. So, does any of that mirror the Big Bang Theory? Any piece of that so far? Y'all let me know. What y'all think? Because I'm kind of lost. All right, here we go. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, y'all want the link? Let me see. Let me send this link out. Let me send the link out. Link is coming, y'all. Give me a second. The link up. All right. Let me see. Corona. I'm sorry, y'all. All right, let's go to spaceplace, nasa.gov, and let's see what the sun is, according to NASA, right? Then we're going to see what the sun is, right? Then we're going to see what Earth is, okay? But let's go back to the Big Bang first. All right. And let's see if if this thing mirror anything about the see if the Bantu cosmology mirror anything about the Big Bang Theory. All right. All right. Let's see. What is the Big Bang? The short answer. The Big Bang is how astronomers explain the way the universe began. It is the idea that the universe began as just a single point, then expanded and stretched to grow as large as it is right now, and is still stretching. What's the Big Bang all about? In 1927, an astronomer named George Lemaitre had a big idea. He said that a very long time ago, the universe started as just a single point. He said the universe stretched and expanded to get as big as it is now, and that it could keep on stretching. What an idea. The universe is a very big place, and it's been around for a very long time. Thinking about how it all started is hard to imagine. Some more information. Just 2 years later, an astronomer named Edwin Hubble noticed that other galaxies were moving away from us. And that's not all. The furthest galaxies were moving faster than the ones close to us. This meant that the universe was still expanding, just like Lemaitre thought. If things were moving apart, it meant that long ago, everything had been close together. Everything we can see in our universe today, stars, planets, comets, asteroids, they weren't there at the beginning. Where did they come from? A tiny, hot beginning. When the universe began, it was just hot, tiny particles mixed with light and energy. It was nothing like what we see now. As everything expanded and took up more space, it cooled down. The tiny particles grouped together, they formed atoms. Then those atoms grouped together. Over lots of time, atoms came together to form stars and galaxies. The first stars created bigger atoms and groups of atoms that led to more stars being born. At the same time, galaxies were crashing and grouping together. As new stars were being born and dying, then things like asteroids, comets, planets, and black holes formed. A super long time. How long did all this take? Well, we know now that the universe is about 13,800,000,000 years old. That's 13.8 billion. That is a very long time. What's in a name? That's pretty much how the universe began, because it got so big and led to such great things. Some people call it the Big Bang, but maybe a better name would be the everywhere stretch. What do you think? All right, I got you. Give me a second. I gotta go out of that. I'm sorry, I got everybody waiting. I'm sorry, I ain't know y'all was waiting. I was in I'm waiting for y'all audio to connect. My bad, y'all. I was waiting for y'all audio. I ain't even know y'all was in the back waiting.
He did that shit on purpose. You went to that. Yo, you went to the kid website, yo. That shit was so informative, yo. That's crazy. I read that. I read that before, and I was like, man, that defeats everybody's argument with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
The kids. Yeah, ain't no fires, yo. No fire, yo. Let's stop.
Mm-hmm.
No atoms aren't burning fire. So, yeah, I get it, bro. People should latch on to this right here, yo. Read that and get. I think a point I like to make, man, earlier that we was talking about,
Mm-hmm.
and the question was asked. So, where do you think they got fire and burning, you know what I'm saying, at the origin of their universe. Yeah, obviously, early man had to see shit explode, had to see fire. Like, you just deduce based off of that. That's not a scientific explanation. That's just, like cosmology, period. Talk about water, primordial stuff, fire. This is consistent across Earth, right? And different people's cosmology. So I just want to, just kind of throw this in there, man.
Yeah, that's a fact. You know what I mean? That's a fact. But we are accused of not having proper methodology. And one thing I was saying was that, in our back chat, I was saying, it seemed like the community is mad, or certain people get mad when you don't go all around the mulberry bush with them, right? When you catch the fox right out the gate, right? Like, if I can catch the fox right out the gate, I'm not running all around the mulberry bush with him, right? If I can smell the bullshit, why step in it? They want you to step in the bullshit. Like, they don't want you to be able to use all your cumulative knowledge, right, and wisdom to see pseudoism from the gate and walk around it. They want you to read 30 books, right, before you determine somebody to be a pseudo, right, or somebody to be bullshit. They don't tell you to go read all the Phil Valentine work.
Hell, right? They got many books too. He wrote a lot of books.
Right. They're not telling you. They let you call him a pseudo, right? They don't tell you go read all the Polite books before you. Polite wrote 99 books. Which one of them Mossy niggas is telling you, hold on, before you call Polite a pseudo, you need to go do a literature review of all Polite books before you can call? No, we can listen to Polite and already know this nigga full of shit.
Yeah, you gotta put that. That's Sean saying that. Don't ain't mix it in like that. That's Sean. We gotta call it what it is. Sean doing that. He need to. That's something he should do though. That's something Sean should do.
So should you was in Malachi York's
correct
organization, right?
Yeah. On the
Would you tell anybody, right? Would you tell anybody, right, to be scholastic, right, or to have
when it come to York?
Yeah. Would you tell them go read his 200 publications before you classify him as a pseudo?
No,
would you tell anybody to do that? Would you waste anybody's time, or would you lead anybody to watch 100 Dan Calloway videos, or would you tell them, look, you can disprove this guy right off the gate? Pull up this, that, and the third, right? You would tell them, pull up this, that, and the third, and you can see right now that Dan Calloway is full of shit.
Yeah, but it's already cookie cutters already. They've already defeated the shit. Like,
right.
That's the point I was trying to make. It's already there. You don't have to, like, it's not like it's not like we're trying to defeat a brand new, unheard of claim. Whereas though you would have to put those steps in there. But the professionals and experts have already, they've already did the research.
So they already debunked them.
It's already debunked. So all we gotta do is just access the research that's killing it. And that's the point. Like, I don't have brand new groundbreaking Asahotep information. I don't have Wu Jia brand new expert Egyptology. He got his own Egyptology school, right? Like he seriously, like, he got his own. That's he is his own thing, right?
He understands better than the expert.
Like, I got Real Black Atheism. Who better understands Real Black Atheism than me? And I can always tweak it.
Because you made it up.
I made it up. I'm not wrong. You can look to certain things like the state-sponsored religion. We can go right here, and the early people they was calling atheists, they was called that because they bought material that didn't agree with the state-sponsored religion. I didn't. That's sourced, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I'm saying? But that's sourced. So, I'm not knocking niggas, but you could understand, where people push back, right, on things you put together yourself. And it's okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. It ain't nothing wrong with it. But you gotta know that, okay, yo, you're right. Atheism means no God or no or whatever the hell the goddamn word is, whatever
Mm-hmm.
word people want to use. Yeah, we give it the definition is, but the real black atheism is going against the state-sponsored religions. That's how I formulate it. But as I'm not an expert though on reading metanetia, I'm not an expert on linguistics. So, but I clearly understand how far the naked eye can see. I clearly can read what you just put up there and understand that atoms ain't fire.
Mm-hmm.
The particles forming atoms and energy, it's not fire. I can understand that. And I can clearly understand how ancient cultures, people, right, who was on Earth, seeing volcanoes explode, seeing fires explode, all kind of shit. I can see that. And I can see them clearly saying that's the origin. I can clearly see how vital water is to ancient cultures. Whenever you see life being born, water. Any mammal walking around, giraffes, hippopotamuses, elephants, dogs, rats, you can literally see the water being broke. The gazelles, you can see
Mm-hmm.
the sack come out the mother. The what's it called? All mammals have the placenta. You can literally see it come out with the baby in it, the afterbirth, and they lick the afterbirth off of it. You can literally see it, and then, right, if you're fortunate enough, right, in those times to get a woman pregnant, you can look at it and say, "Damn, the same damn thing." Now you
Mm-hmm.
might not lick the afterbirth off of it, right? Maybe early humans did, right? But you can see it and wipe the baby off and be like, hold it in your hand and then clip that umbilical cord. You can see the same umbilical cord on a giraffe, hippopotamus, and you see the water break. You can see it. And you can say, you know what? That's that's life. Whenever we see that water, life come. Whenever we don't drink water, niggas die. You can really see the importance of water or watery substances. And so you could put it in your cosmology and it be deep and banging for the time, and we get it. But see, what I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna place that up against the Big Bang. I'm not gonna show you a physicist talking about watery type substance and know that he's not talking about none of the shit that prehistoric man seen. I'm not willing to play that game on people, bro, man. That that that's not cool, and I'm not doing it. I just wanted to close that with that.
Yeah, that's what's up, Cedric.
Yeah, I'm not do that, yo. I'm not gonna be able to do that, bro.
Yeah,
That's a little bit too much.
it's,
That's a little
it's,
bit too much for me.
it's horrible when we get
Horrible.
blamed for microwaving the information, but like
No,
I'm
I'm
a
not going.
I'm I'm gonna keep pumping that it's 2022, right? And in 2022, we can get to information a lot quicker. I had to learn that, right? I'm sitting there arguing with Bantu and them, and they're getting to the information faster than me, right? They already got videos and lectures on the topic. You dig what I'm saying?
In the middle of us arguing on the shit.
Exactly. You know what I
That's
mean?
the
And
bullshit.
yeah, like at that time, the younger people was running laps around you. You dig what I'm
Yeah.
saying? While you trying to read 30 books on the subject, they can go to the goddamn experts already that then already spoke on it, right? They can
Experts
get
too.
to that.
Not the Not the fake experts, but real, like
experts, right?
experts at major universities, right? The ones that agree. You know what I'm saying? Like when I say agree, like they're not trying to play the racism card. Like they off that part. They just trying to bring you the fact. Like, come on, yo, you know how many lectures is on ancient cosmology, yo? Real shit at Harvard. You know what shit you can get from Harvard? Yeah, you know how many museums you can go to online?
Online,
They
right?
got Egyptian cosmology. No fucking way, yo. How you think I know how old the pyramid text is? It's coming from the old kingdom. Why I know that? You can go to any museum of worth and they got the curators just talking about it. You can go right there and read their shit. They the curator. So, but I'm not the expert. Now, Wuja can defeat the curators.
Look, they got
And
3D
they
models
can.
now. They got the videos where you can walk through the monuments,
All the
right?
time.
And look at it right on their damn websites. Oxford
Yeah.
University, all of that. They got whole temple complexes where they didn't took their video cameras and they, you know what I mean? And you can walk through the 3D rendering of all and see the motherfuckers, right? The wall, you can see everything and you can click on it and read the excerpts from it. Like this technology is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But then what's crazy is you can go to those experts, you can read what they say, then you can talk to a person like Wuja and he'll say something completely different than what you just read the experts say.
No, you'll read 40 experts. You know,
Right.
I don't just I don't just read, I listen, we watch gang film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yo, what's the timestamp on this? When I watch, man, you can go to several different museums and they have lectures, right? And you can actually hear people that's fighting for Africa. Academia now talk about Egypt, whatever, you fighting for that, and they won't remotely say none of that shit. You be like, nah, I ain't hear him say nah, they didn't say that the nun was the shit in front of the Big Bang. They didn't say that, yo. Nah, they didn't say that, yo. I ain't do that.
Yeah,
Nah,
and
so
then
I give them 20. I do 20 experts and then I'm done. I don't got, if I ain't found out of 20 experts, if I ain't found it, like I'm like, okay, you playing, you doing too much now. I'm gonna come on, yo. Go ahead, Boo. I mean, dang.
Yes, family.
What's going on, sir?
I'm stuck on methodology. How you guys doing? Because I'm trying to see if my methodology is flawed. Because then show me what methodology allows you to discuss cosmologies that are focused on creation, whereby we established that this is imagination. There were no tools to actually quantify what they believe. So we understand that is imagination, regardless of how accurate or inaccurate it may be, it stays within the realm of imagination. Why? There is nothing to substantiate what they believe. Nothing. Okay, that's now according to my process of establishing methodology, we first have to look at the philosophy. So what are we talking about? So we're talking about a belief system that these people had, which they are entitled to. Mind you, they didn't have the tools that we have, but we understand it's their belief. What methodology allows you to equate belief to actual knowledge? I'm trying to figure the methodology that allows me to quantify belief as actual knowledge. So this is what we know. this is what they believe. And we know what they believe cannot be brought into this realm. So my methodology stops that conversation for me right there. There is no way possible I'm going to make that equation. That would be like equating the ancients' concept of disease being a spirit, being evil spirits, and somehow reading a text where talking about disease and the spirits that cause this disease and equating that to germ theory. What would allow me to do that exercise? Which methodology exists that allows me to do that exercise? So now when we start to question the methodology we're applying, which is read your document. Now, if this is a primary document, I don't know, but this is the document presented as the claim whereby the equation was made. So now we read the document, we analyze the document, we fish out what the document is saying. Step one, we understand what is being said there. There's no misinterpretation, we went through it. Step two, now your claim is that it equates to modern science. Now, I don't need a telescope at this point. There are people who have done the work. I can refer to the experts. We can read exactly what the theory is, and we can equate the two. And then we say, no, there is no equation possible. End of discussion. What did we do wrong? What
why would you have to do the
methodology
actual research?
did we not apply?
Yeah, why would you have to do it? Like, why would you have to do the research on?
Like, exactly. I'm a biochemist, but I don't go and do the actual research to determine whether the vaccines is actually true. There is data that I analyze. Based on analyzing that data and understanding the science, the field, I can make a conclusion on the accuracy of the data, and I can actually make predictions, but that's within my field. So I can actually do that. I don't need to refer to a third party to actually make a prediction, because this is within my field. So I'm allowed to do that, which I do on a daily basis. I don't have to write books. I report to a minister and I make predictions. The virus is doing this, we're going there based on the data, not based on conclusions that anyone else reaches. Because I'm versed in the subject, so I apply my methodology and I actually make predictions. Okay? So now, what methodology allows for a flawed principle to be applied? And now when we actually say you can't do that, you turn and say, but that's not what I was doing. I was using modern science and its colloquial definition to explain what they meant. Again, what methodology allows you to do that? These are based on flawed principles. Your principle, the point of departure is flawed. You cannot engage in that exercise. You know what the studies do? They equate cosmologies to cosmologies, and they flesh them out, and they say they thought this and they meant that. When they look at the Muslim cosmology, they equate it to the biblical cosmology, because that's the realm which all beliefs and creation myths are examined. They are never, ever equated to modern science in no form or fashion. No modern science concepts are used to explain what the ancients believed. That is left within their realm by itself. This is what science did. The papers from Harvard actually indicate this is how science is done. That's the methodology that Harvard applied. They said, we cannot equate modern cosmology and our understanding of the expansion of the universe to anything that the ancients believed. It is classified as myth. So how do you engage in set methodology? If mine is flawed, you don't explain your methodology. You create a straw man by saying mine is flawed, never explaining how it is flawed. I don't need to go and become an astronomer at this point. The kids in school are taught astronomy.
Go get a degree.
I don't have to get a degree in astronomy to understand my place in the universe based on the science that exists. I am scientifically literate. That's all that is required. And I'm scientifically literate enough to know that the exercise you're engaging in is one that is logically flawed. It is considered apologetics. There is no way I can falsify your claims. You're going to fit it in however you want to. That's confirmation bias. If you want to start to talk about straw man, etc. The straw man is questioning our methodology without explaining how it is flawed and never explaining the methodology you apply to engage in the exercise that you were doing. Sean, call your name. I ain't no cheerleader.
You mad at that? Yo, hate you with the cheerleader.
And I ain't begging no friend partner. So anytime you want to do this, we can do it. I was in court, I was listening, and you're all emotional and vexing in your feelings. I want to have the discussion. Set it up, let's do it. You're listening, I know. But I put the challenge out several times. I ain't nowhere I'm not published. The only publications I did was my research paper in COX-2 identification. That's an enzyme that lives in the gut. That's what I do. After that, I need to publish nothing. I write laws for my island. I set up companies. So I need to publish no books.
Yeah, you gotta get a degree in astronomy to realize that the Egyptians couldn't see the universe.
And then we need to be initiated to fully comprehend, and then we need to be able to read the primary source and not refer to the document that you brought to the table, because obviously it's not the primary source, because Fukuya can be a primary source because he's translating the stuff because he was initiated. So I can consider him a primary source based on that process you guys identify. So I don't understand what I'm not doing that is within the methodology to examine what you're doing. I'm saying what you're doing can be done.
I don't trust Fukuya. I don't trust us. That's what the Congo people said. Everything that I look at, it refers back to him.
Yeah, that's enough. Yeah, I don't like that.
Like just put in Bantu or Congo cosmology. Everything refers back to Fukuya.
Yeah, I can't do it.
So, I mean, and even the words that he used, even in his book. Let me pull this back up. Now, just look at the sources. All of the sources that he's citing is himself. This is crazy. Look.
He's initiated. He's allowed to.
Yeah, he's initiated. So that, once you initiate, you can write your own shit. Just like Muda Kretra Muta. Yeah, he initiated. He can say whatever he wants to say.
Look, but this the thing, we can't even check this nigga because he like me. He the source. This nigga really the source, yo.
And what methodology was applied to fact check if Fukuya is the source?
Yes, ain't nobody did that.
What methodology allowed you to pull up Fukuya to begin with?
Y'all see my screen? Hold on.
see it. What's this?
Listen, this is
Mapping of the universe.
Right. Watch this. For the Bantu people, the Congo in particular, the universe as we see and know it is the result of the primitive event that occurred in and around it, well known as Luku Lawamba Nzembe, God took dough, i.e., the magnetic matters, the Big Bang. What is the source? He cited the source, and guess who it is? Fukuyao, 1969. He's the fucking source of this. This nigga is citing himself. There's
So
nobody else
known as
corroborating the shit that he's saying but himself. This is nuts. Look, go up to the next paragraph, the paragraph above it. He's citing himself again. Fukuyao, 1969, in a paragraph right above it. Let's keep going. All right. On this page, Fukuyao. These are the sources. Fukuyao, 1969, 1980, 1991. This nigga
Fukuyao is the death.
Go down to the last paragraph on this page. Again, the source Fukuyao, 1969,
but is that work peer reviewed? Is that
1991.
Is that work from his other book peer reviewed?
All of this shit is him.
Yeah, but is that work from his other books peer reviewed? Did he get his PhD with that?
Nah, yo, it's the fact that he's sourcing his own work that make it crazy. Because we ain't trying. We know what you think. We want to know what you're using to get you that conclusion. So he's basically using his own work to get you the conclusion. Nah, I ain't gonna do that no better than that, yo. See what I'm saying, yo? So where's the methodology in allowing something like that through? Right? What kind of study habits do you have that you would actually allow a person to source himself? Man, come on, man. Let me get off this motherfucker, man. That shit's crazy to me, bro.
I start a new gig in the morning. I gotta get up at 5. I start hosting.
Yeah, it get crazy. I mean, nigga, it's stupid with me, chef. I can't do it, yo. I ain't been to do it, yo.
This is crazy. I listened for 5 minutes and I said, but wait, everything you're accusing us of doing is exactly what you're doing.
Like, I can't do it.
I listened to you. You clearly said, and according to Neil deGrasse Tyson and according to Lawrence Krauss, from the time you make that equation, then my signal, okay, let me read this stuff a little bit closer then. And the closer I read it, the further it gets away from anything science is saying. And again, from the time you refer to a certain expert, then you got to show me where he actually corroborates it. Then, otherwise than that, that's what you're thinking. That's your opinion. Like, huh? And what is the validity of that? How do you bring your opinion and don't make it clear? So you're referring to the scientists. The scientists don't actually corroborate nothing you say, but you're using them and just deciding that you're allowed to do that. What methodology does that?
Yeah.
Where none of us are in the field, so we can only refer to the experts. So show me where the experts make that claim. Yo, the Bantu cosmology, they got this right, they got that right. This looks accurate, that looks accurate, this looks like that. Show me that for the Egyptian cosmology.
Hey, my bad. Hey, Reggie, my bad. I didn't see you waiting. You can click the link back again. I apologize. I was reading the Fukuyao joint. But yeah.
And then talk about a straw man.
Where's Reggie at?
Focus your attention, accusing us of not applying proper methodology, all the while not explaining your methodology. This is how I decided that it was valid to engage in this exercise based on these principles, because every principle I look at don't allow for this equation to be done, for this comparison to be done. It's like comparing oranges with apples, like literally. You're comparing belief to science? That's what Christians do. Like, that's apologetics. It is a class of philosophy. It's called apologetics. Now, if you want to engage in that, fine, but don't classify what you're doing as anything other. It's apologetics. You're gonna keep moving the goalpost and come to and start screaming. Isn't there a cooling on? Isn't there a cooling? Wasn't there a heat and fire?
Hell no, nigga. It took 13 billion years for the cool down. Let me stop, man. That's just stupid.
Listen.
Hey, Reggie, your mic working?
Mic check. Yo, you know what's one of my favorite channels on YouTube these days? Yo, Ladisha Wright. Ladisha Wright. Shout out to Ladisha Wright, man. Subscribe to her channel, man. She's got the hair channel, man. She's been a supporter of all family's work. Ladisha Wright. It's a hair channel. You know Ladisha. Yo, she been in the chat for me. Yeah. Firm support.
I'm gonna look it up.
All the work. Yeah.
Yo, how Reggie
right now.
Reggie got a horrible internet service.
He got to ride the bike.
He got dial up.
Yeah, he got to ride the bike.
He got the dial up service, but it's crazy that
and when Dr. Ben got something wrong, he wasn't trying to be pseudo. He was just wrong. He was
didn't get the aliens
with
wrong. He didn't get the aliens.
Yeah, but he didn't talk about no aliens.
No, he didn't get the aliens. Yeah, that's why I'm not trying that shit.
Okay, no, so now from the time you have this belief system from the 1950s, when I read up, you're a self-appointed shaman, you're a self-appointed expert, you have a reptilian a philosophy that David Icke held on to, then you both guys started corroborating each other. And I must take anything you say seriously. Anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
See, now we never looked at any of Credo Mutwa works. I know I haven't. I heard a few videos. Well, I tried to listen to some videos. I couldn't do it. I did it. I personally, I couldn't.
I made it to the
jury.
A couple of them.
I made it to the jury, bro.
No, I watched.
Y'all make it to the jury part?
No, I ain't like none of his jewelry when I seen it on him.
No, he said the reason. He said he said they gave him that jewelry, so when they come back, they know who he is.
Yeah, because he was having sex with him and eating them and all kind of crazy nonsense.
He went off the deep.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out.
I'm burning all Foucault books. I'd make out one somewhere. I'm burning on. I'm thinking I'm gonna burn it live on camera.
Well, they actually said that you used to push Foucault work.
They lied. And that's a lie. That's a lie. Straight. That's what I'm saying. Like, get me honest, yo. Yeah, I mean, don't do that. Come on, yo. Push Foucault work. Find the video. I don't even know Foucault.
Yo, they literally said that,
it was terrible.
You was pushing Foucault work at one point.
Nah, he made that up.
Going against him. I damn near laughed my ass off in the chat.
I know, but why do it though, yo? Like, why do that? Right? Like, I am pushed. I don't mean no motherfucking Foucault, yo.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on, yo. Like, I ain't gonna never do that.
These characters into the conversation.
That's when I almost got mad for real.
I don't know any of these characters. So now you brought them into the conversation. I'm not allowed to look them up. I'm not allowed to vet them. I'm not allowed to determine whether I'm going to value their information, yes or no. And when the reptilian conversation starts and the abductions by aliens and the probing, and I'm scared to the life of me, and it hurts so painful. I was okay. No, so now he's not credible. What now? He's not credible. I determined based on him having those whack ideas that I'm not going to engage in anything else that he produced because he's a wacko. I draw that conclusion? Do I need to read anything of Dr. York after he talked about the pickle man?
Not the pickle man.
Hey, Reggie, what do you got to add to the conversation? Late night with the pseudo killers.
Unc want to get on me. Poor Corey Concrete, man, is just. Man.
I apologize, Reggie. I was in the chat and I apologize for Concrete Corey. On behalf of the pseudo killers, I'm going to apologize for Concrete Corey.
No,
Really? Really?
No, I mean, that's just the pseudo.
But you did gaslight him though, Reggie.
Yeah,
well, I was trying to tell Reggie that shit, man. Gas. I was like, Reggie.
Yeah, I want to share my screen. This will help.
What? Hold on. Now it's before humanity. I ain't seen this video with Creed Mutual.
Yeah, let me see if
let me look at that one. Bang
Go
on
ahead.
that tomorrow.
I think
Bang on that tomorrow, bro.
I think this will help. Man, I'm having some technical difficulties, man. I'm trying to share my screen. Oh, there it goes. All right, here it goes.
Boy,
right?
Creed got them. Hey, Reggie.
Yeah.
Why come the reptilians ain't bring you a pair of glasses, though? They could have did that. They came 100 million light years across the galaxy and left that man.
They kept that man blind.
They left him. They could have brought that man.
They couldn't fix his cataract.
Nigga, they could have fixed his cataract, yo.
Yeah, they
hit that man like that.
They didn't leave no tools, but okay, so I'll share my screen. Can you see my
Why
screen?
they do that man like that, dog? They left that nigga with some jewelry so they can
but no glasses.
But they ain't get that nigga no glasses. That's just stupid to me.
I'd
say, yo, give me the glasses. I can't see, man.
Keep the jewelry.
Keep the jewelry, yo. Identify me by my motherfucking new glasses you gave me. They left him out there, yo, with the magnifying glasses on and this shit, yo.
Can I share my screen,
yo? Yeah, we can see it, Reggie. Go ahead.
Yeah, yo, we just trying to figure out why that man
so
ain't get the glasses, yo.
I think that this will help. You know, tomorrow Ankh is gonna be on my head. Corey gonna be on my head.
What you great dude, Reggie?
Here it goes.
Defeat y'all.
All right, you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
It says philosophy is like being in a dark room and looking for a black cat.
This is the video. My fault. I'm working with you.
Metaphysics is like being in a dark room and looking for a black cat that isn't there.
Yeah.
Theology is like being in a dark room and looking for a black cat that isn't there and shouting, "I found it." Science like being in a dark room and looking for a black cat using a fucking flashlight.
Yeah, bro. I read that. That's serious.
Yeah, so that's
Is that Sean at the bottom of that page right there looking? No, that's cooler.
That's a cat. That's a cat with a flashlight. Right? Science is gonna find the cat if it's there with the flashlight. So Fukiao is Fukiao, and unfortunately those people who reference him is basically being in the dark room and looking for a black cat that isn't there. And then they push it further, and then they say, using Fukiao when they quote him, that they found it, and credo mutua. So metaphysics and theology is out the fucking window, right? So
good point.
So science, the difference between all those other three that they can't create is a tool. So when they start creating a tool, then you could say, well, okay, I got something there, right? Because at least they created a tool. Now, does the tool work properly? They got a whole lot of shit that they do calculations on that don't work. But when they do have a tool, tools are the only things that we can rely on. Everything else is looking for a fucking black cat in a dark room that isn't there.
Hey, Chef, Kudamutron got some mean ass brass jewelry on. Y'all just realized that, yo. That's the shit that made him go blind, nigga. That all that t-shirt jewelry got on, yo. Oh, you see that?
Oh no, I
gotta
don't
play
look
that
at that
video.
guy, yo.
Yo, we gotta put
I'm
the
watching
video.
Reggie.
Yeah, and he's wearing glasses.
I'm looking at Reggie become a pseudo killer when he want to, right?
Yeah, he jump in and out.
I'm having a problem with Reggie because he can do good work when he want to, and then it's like tomorrow he's gonna jump off the deep end.
No, here's the thing. Let me tell you something. Sometimes you just lay the trap and you let them go on and start talking, and the bridge get narrower, right? And then you let them fucking fall off. So sometimes you're in there and you're just pushing them. You're just pushing them. And then, so they took this video that I was talking on your chat about not being on Horus. Then they blow it up to kind of destroy me and put me against the comedics. And I say, okay, so you comedics now come for me. Come for me on Horus, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're right, I do some good work, and sometimes, I get tired, man. I got so many enemies. Unc is a hardliner, Chef, and you a hardliner. Cedric is after Cedric's rant today, shit. He's super hardliner, and Concrete, Corey is a hardliner, but one thing is to get up there in the debate and either survive or win,
But you about to do a whole you about to be in a whole conference, right?
Yeah.
With some real hard-hitting blackologists. Like, I mean,
my conference is better than the One Africa conference where they got. Did you see what happened on that channel? And they're watching this, so they're gonna record it. But I'm gonna tell you, they was saying about the conference that the spirit of Dr. Ben. First, someone asked, well, what did Dr. Ben would think about this conference? Then they went further on the bridge, and they was talking about Dr. Ben's spirit is going to be there. Asa Hilliard's spirit is going to be there. They was literally saying,
I'm scared to tune into that shit, then.
They was literally marketing conference based on the spirit of Dr. Ben and Asa Hilliard and Runoko Rashidi. They're gonna be at the conference, y'all. They're gonna be.
I hope, man. That's
Poke the guys.
They're gonna be at the conference, bro. In the afterlife, they can help us more than they can help us on Earth.
3D images like Tupac concert.
So yeah, the Coachella concerts.
So when I see that, I'm like, when I see that, I knew if I would have said something right there at that moment, they would have just went all in on me. So what I did,
you would have been disrespecting the ancestors.
Yes, I would have been. Yes, I don't love Dr. Ben and I don't love Dr. Clark. Even though I was at their funerals, I seen them in the coffin. I see my parents in the coffin, and no matter what I think about where they might be or what they do, another part of me just says that I am by procreation, I have parts of them, right? But for them to be saying, marketing to the people that this conference, that those ancestors are going to be there, and of course, all the pharaohs are going to be there too,
Man, my dad just died, and he's dead.
Oh no! Hold on, y'all. Now, did anybody see Jabari on Sinetta one day saying that one of the pharaohs actually talked to him from his coffin.
Yeah.
It was a female deity, and so I heard him say that, and I also heard Charles Finch say that. Charles Finch said the ancestors was talking to him, and he had to bow his head. He couldn't even look up. It was just so heavy. So and so that's why, slowly I talk to the Kemetic people. I'm the only people, they call me a traitor. They call me all these names, right? And then the other people call me a Hebrew enabler. But I was like, nah, I want to hear what the Hebrews have to say. Let's do a conference. Let's bang them up in a conference and just keep banging them out, and know that they don't have no text outside the Torah in the 300 BC, 400 BC. They ain't got no text except for the writings that they say was there, but they ain't got no text.
No, but Zion Lex, right? No matter what he do, he not running around saying Moses talking to him. No, Jabari literally said he was in the damn museum, and the goddamn mummy coffin, the person started talking to him from the goddamn sarcophagus. And he looked back and he asked everybody, did y'all hear that? And the people said, what are you talking about? And he said,
he just inhaled too much mummy dust.
Start talking to him again. And he was the only
much mummy dust.
Yeah, so this is when stuff goes way too far.
And he was dead serious. He was dead serious, right? We can't say it was a metaphor.
Just got too close to the mummy.
Hold on.
He inhaled some mummy dust.
He didn't say it was a metaphor. He literally said he was in the damn museum with everybody else. This was a literal event, and this happened. He was saying this, like, I mean,
Chef, and we cannot discount his personal experience.
Yeah, no, we can't discount his personal religious experience that he had.
No.
He's a Kemetic priest.
Exactly. So we just have to say, okay, Jabari, that's it. We cannot quantify it, but we know that experience all took place within the confinement of what I'm now going to start classifying as two things. Either it's imagination or reality. The fact that he had to question others.
Or a mental breakdown.
Yes, it's imagination.
It's all.
I'm not going to question the validity of him having had that experience. He chose to have,
or he's lying.
Chef, the fact that he chose to have his experience corroborated by those around him adds some validity to the fact that he had that experience. Now, let's stay right there. We know that this experience was all within the confinement of Jabari's imagination. I'm not going to question his mental faculties. I'm just going to classify it as his imagination. We need to start doing this much more often. These claims that people make, it's all within their imagination, and they have a right to it.
All right.
Yes.
Well, they have a right. People have a right to their own imagination. But when they extend the imagination as if it's true, right? Then that's to other people to get us to believe what they only witness. That's a problem, and that's symptomatic thinking. That's symptomatic thinking. That's not. That's symbolic thinking. That's not symptomatic thinking.
Thank you, Reggie. I was wanting you to quantify and add on to what I'm saying, because I just was making that little statement as a jab. I'm being sarcastic. So your addition was absolutely correct. When they try to convince me of their imagination, then we got a problem, because epistemology allows me to distinguish imagination from reality. There's a set of tools that we use for that. And that slide that you put up, that last point on that slide, science is that tool. So yeah, I'm hardcore.
So we live in a community where you know, there's a paper out there called Homo symbolicus, right? Talking about early man. And at some point, early man became Homo symbolicus and Homo religious, right? And when they became Homo symbolical, then they use symbols to represent things that were not there in a belief system. And the religious thing was codifying in some type of in rituals and documents to further the belief. So we live in this world, while we as African people are not successful, is because we are symbolic. Africa has an enormous amount of problems. So does India. And the problems is what they want to, what some people want to save as and call spirituality. They don't want to call it religion. They want to call it spirituality. They don't use English correctly, because when groups of people start doing the rituals and furthering it, it becomes a religion. Spirituality is your personal, the stuff that you keep inside, right? Is your personal worldview, and that could change, and then nobody can judge you on that. But when it's religion, so when they're doing a ceremony that they call the opening of the way ceremony, and they're starting north, south, east, west, right? And they're saying stuff like Anuk Geb, no, Anezarek Geb, which means basically homage to you, or I see your face, right? And then the next word after that is Anuk Geb, I am Geb. And I ask them all the time, show me a text where it says a Nezareth something and then a Nuke Nezareth. You can't show it even to me the text. And so now it's problematic, because now it's an innovation that's not even there in the writing of the ancient Egyptians. And then Nezareth means show me your face, or homage to you. And then the next word is I am that deity. So Nezareth Shu, Anuk Shu. So now it's a first person. It's show me your face, meaning you're asking the deity to show themselves, to be there, be present. And the next minute, before anything happens, you're saying, I am that deity. And I'm like, I can't find any text that says that. Even the ancient Egyptians didn't do that. Now you're taking it to a whole nother level, because the ancient Egyptians didn't do that. And when they were doing this, usually it's really around funeraries, a funerary process. And so your ritual is based on a funerary process. But you know, I'm gonna get kicked in the back, spat on. You know, and the worst is when women, our sisters, follow these dudes, and then they become adherents. Then they're the worst when they want to call you out and call you names and do things to you and stuff like that. They're the worst when they get a religion. You can't tell a woman nothing, right? So the men spook the women out. The women believe it, and then it has to be true. And then I have lost. They weren't my friends in the first place. These are people that I know. They just thought that I was with them. So I'm grown up now. I'm 56, going on 57. I'm trying to leave this earth with as many facts as that I can believe, that I can prove, that I know, right? Rather than things that than forced to stay with things that I believe. And so, not y'all, maybe sometimes but unfortunately, I'm on the public. I'm more of in the public in more spaces, and I know these people. So I don't mind a demonstrative ritual out of respect and honoring. I just have a problem when actually people actually don't have the information to choose reality versus imagination.
Dr. Reggie.
Brother Reggie is fine. Thanks.
I mean, look, man, I've been watching you on Side Data for a while, bro. But anyway, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Cause you like the activist, right? You like the activist, right? So here's my question right here. Why is it that when we look at a lot of these so-called Kemetic people, these people who subscribe to like an African religion, why do we see these people basically use that to try to get money and kind of like swindle people almost, but they're not using it as a revolutionary weapon to like, make black people feel better about themselves. Something like what Elijah Muhammad used to do back in the day when he first started. Like, why do we see
you would
that?
use Elijah Muhammad as an example. I don't know why you would use him as a good example, right?
Because he used, Islam as a way to he's changed it up a little bit, to make it a revolutionary weapon. He made Malcolm X.
But the space wheel and all of that stuff, I don't know. Saying and then Master Farad is basically an if he's not Indian, he's Asiatic, right? And saying that he's God in the person of Allah. And I mean that just can go so far. They created a good rigid organization, but as a revolutionary organization, not so. But I get your point. It's really all about the money and the control. It's every single religion is about money and control, and money, ego, control, and pussy. Every single one of them is about that. They're not revolutionary. The only revolutionary religion that I know of is the Haitian Revolution. That's the only one that I know of. That men and women took an anti-stance on Christianity and fought to the death, and won. But since then, I know very few religious movements that was successful.
So let me ask you this, Dr. Reggie, since y'all brought
Brother Reggie,
Brother Reggie.
call me
Right.
Dr. Reggie, and then some pseudo killer come over here and he ain't a doctor and just that, but Brother Reggie's fine.
Okay, so Brother Reggie, now since you brought up Farad and you said he might have been Indian or Asiatic,
Arab, right?
or Arab. All right, so I'm sure you looked at the FBI documents. So you don't go with the conclusion that the fingerprint data and stuff goes back to Wallace Ford.
Yeah, but who is Wallace Ford? What's his nationality?
He was American. He was from goddamn
Yeah, but what's his ethnicity? He wasn't Black American.
No, he was classified as a white American.
Yeah.
It was on his son's death certificate from the Korean War. No, I think World War II. It was on his marriage license, right? And those same fingerprints went back to the guy who was locked up in San Quentin, I think. So and he and on his booking and intake, he was classified as white.
Well,
right?
Arabs and other groups of people coming into the Americans was classified as white. I'm trying to figure out if Dr. Ben because I know a lot of Puerto Ricans, a lot of people were classified as white. So I don't know what Dr. Ben's birth certificate is, but I know that there's a lot of Black people being classified as white as a way to say that they're not African.
No, I'm saying even from the physical descriptions that the police from what was it, Detroit? When he was in Detroit, when they or was it Chicago?
Yeah, but
they said that they locked up a white man. They didn't say that this man was. Now I understand how the United States Bureau of Immigration like to classify people, but I'm saying that these other white police officers, right? They said that this was a white man, like far as wise visual. Like
yeah,
they didn't say he was. They didn't say he was Indian or Arab. Like people know the difference between a goddamn Caucasian white man, Indian or Arab. You feel me? And they said they seen a white man. They walked past him because they thought he was the landlord of the building. Like his wife said that she didn't marry a Arab or a goddamn Indian. She said he was a white man.
Phenotypically, people can look white, and I understand what you're saying, but the heart of the issue is that they force people in their adherents to believe that, first of all, that he is God, and so Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was his messenger, and so now we're living in 2022, and it's going to be harder for them. It's hard. It was hard when the stuff came out. Now it's going to be even harder if they don't have a strong leader to kind of continue to push this. But then you got Hebrews. They're not African, right? The Hebrews are not African, right? But the commandment keeper, Wentworth, he said that he was born in Nigeria, but he's born in Nigeria, but he's not African, he's Hebrew. So you're right, this belief stuff, and it's not to Adrian's point, it's not helping, it's not proving to help our movement. It's not proven at all to help our movement in the long term. And they don't want to. They have never come up with a plan. They don't understand city politics and stuff like that. They just think that if everyone becomes their religion, then. But if they don't watch history and see that that's impossible, there's always going to be factions, right? And so they're not good stewards of history. So they never want history to come into the fold because they can't validate anything with history, and they can't validate anything with DNA and anything with science. I mean, when the minister said to his people, do you want your hair to be as
your eyebrows?
Yeah, to be fine as your eyebrows. To me, that was problematic, unscientific. People in the sun develop darker skin, but they also in the sun develop coarse and kinky hair to keep the moisture in their scalp. You can't be a fair-skinned, thin-haired man or woman in the Sudan.
Sub-Saharan Africa, right?
You cannot do that. It's scientifically impossible. And then the Moors, Old Man Kush is the first inhabitant of Africa. So how does that work with evolution? So Adrian, it's really about finding people who don't know a lot of information and getting them into some type of religious organization for the betterment of the religious organizations. But that's not gonna help our people, huh?
Right. No, I agree. I agree with what you said.
I I just asked that question because I have like many friends of mine who were like, how should I say, like ruthless drug dealers, just all around criminals, right? And they have like, like converted to like, Hebrew Israelite organizations and like Moorish organizations, and they became like, better black people because of that. But it's like the thing that I see with like a lot of these organizations that they don't believe in theory and practice.
No,
And
because it's a better way to hustle. So when you have somebody who's a cold-blooded killer or a drug dealer, right? When they come into these organizations, they don't. There's nothing in the organization that really makes them change. They're usually alpha males. They usually go to the top real quick, right? And what they do is they don't have to sell drugs anymore, and they don't have to murder people for nothing. So now it's about the bag. It's about the power. And so they're half in and half out. You see them smoking cigarettes and you see them smoking weed and sniffing coke. Like all you have to do is just look at the, please, I don't want to not be able to go to Philadelphia, but some of the members of the Nation of Islam in Philadelphia, they were ruthless, right? So the history says that, okay, all organizations have bad sex, but don't mix the disguise. They just master some formula, and it goes back to I'm older now. I don't want to have to be on the street killing people, selling drugs. I can rise to power in an organization with weak people, and I can eke out a living based on the adherence is going to give me money. So in the old days, like when you're in these organizations, you got to sell stuff for the organization. You got to sell oils, you got to sell newspapers, you got to sell books, and all of that goes to the leader. So when they say something like, "Oh, Dr. York had all this money," no, it was the people's money. It wasn't his money. He just managed to get the people to believe that they would leave their families, go into this mosque, and make money for this mosque. And at the end of the day, that man controlled all those people's money, and those people weren't the better for it. So, but the stuff that I'm talking about, I try, the stuff will get you killed. The stuff will literally get you killed. Literally. But I'm older, like for example, with ISUPK, I grew up with General Yohana.
what?
You ain't know that?
Man, that's interesting. I mean,
Yeah, General Yohana is my, we graduated from high school at the same time. Right? Like, I know his government name. I know his brother. They my friends. They my friends from the projects, right? So,
right.
I knew when he was in ISUPK in the early days. I knew when he broke away, and because his brother would always see me, and his brother was a bus driver at the time, and he was telling me about all of this stuff, and I'm like, but these are the dudes that's trying to chase us off the block, right?
Well,
But yeah, it was come to find out, it was the wing that General Yohana was on, ISUPK. They was hard body, real rigid, right? And but I don't have he my childhood friend. I don't have no some people say, why don't I bang bang? If I have a question, I can ultimately have a conversation with him. But I got a pretty good relationship with them. But that's a personal relationship. Yeah, it's a block relationship, right? So I don't look. I mean, they are getting some men off the street. Some women off the street, and their organization is better than most of the other organizations. So Adrian, you basically it's the hustle, HUSSLE, right? It's the hustle. Be a part of this organization and you go to the top. But if you want to talk about the Black Panther Party, we could talk about the Black Panther Party. I mean, their religion was not a religion. It was largely atheism, but they believed in communism and socialism.
Their motto was we are interpreting 400 years of slavery and Jim Crow through the lenses of Marxism, Leninism.
That's basically correct. And then the internal motto was don't mix my pussy with my politics. And so when you're watching all these movies and these dudes and these documentaries and these dudes just got white women, right? Then you say, how is that? Because of their socialist, communist, comrade conversation.
Eldridge Cleaver, he was a brilliant psycho, but Kathleen Cleaver was like talking about that in the interview, how like Eldridge Cleaver would be like beating on her, be sleeping with, white women and stuff. It was like, man, he was a little crazy.
Yeah, so then you go to Malana Karenga's US organization. Both these organizations was pushed against each other. Malana Karenga's organization was cultural nationalism, but still kind of very, very heavy socialism. People don't know that Kawida theory and Kwanzaa, people don't know that that's a form of communism. They don't know that it's actually, the technical term is communitarianism. Communitarianism is the highest form of communism. And so the principles are, if you notice, they don't talk about God in the seven prongs of Kwanzaa. No, there's no God in there. There's no God. So in a sense, when you start studying these movements, then later on you have okay, so Malcolm X is the last stages of Malcolm X. I would consider Malcolm X a revolutionary, but ideologically a revolutionary, and that created a divide within the Nation of Islam. Malcolm X's stance on how we should respond to white people treating us. And that was, if you listen to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad talk about Malcolm and Malcolm being violent, that's a very, very interesting conversation. I don't talk about the minister Louis Farrakhan because he's still with us, and it's dangerous. It's real dangerous to show some contradictions. So I choose not to. I choose not to, because they can touch me. They can touch me, and I don't want to be touched by them. Dr. Khalid Muhammad, he made a mistake. He made a mistake. He got put out, and then unfortunately he began to talk about his teacher, his extended father, in a way that threatened the organization. And one of the crazies, not necessarily a member of the Nation of Islam, but a former adherent, sometimes organizations can't control crazy people. So he shot Khalid Muhammad, and that's that. And that's that. So sometimes we could be ideologically correct, but it'll put you in a cemetery. And even when I bang on comedics, there's some of them that are got loose marbles. right? And I've been threatened. I've been threatened a couple of times, and I just say, well, you know, you and building another organization like those organizations is religious. I'm against. I'm personally against. So I bang on the Hebrews, I bang on the Christians, I bang on the Moors, I bang on the Comedics. And you're right, Adrian, I'm pretty much and then even the African belief systems. I'm just saying, show me outside the Haitian Revolution where it works. It always works on Black people. Show me where it works against white people. If it ain't working against white people, if they still stealing your land, you still sending your children to their schools, right? You still involved in servitude, right? When you go to these chiefs' houses and stuff like that, and then they're giving out fake stools. Those stools that they give out when they say you're a chief, they not real. They not real. You're not no real chief. You want a payola? They're gonna ask you for some money.
Yeah, I saw a Chinese man in Ghana become a chief. That was just, I'm like, oh, okay, okay. That I think it was Simon and Preswy. He was the second in command to Jonas Savimbi. He said, look, if we're not careful enough, colonialism might come in the form of investments.
That's correct. So that's clear as a bell. So now you're doing good work. So so religion and symbolism is our enemy, because they could be used arbitrarily against our people, and they're not tools, but they can become tools of enforcement, and they don't work against the white man.
Let me kind of contradict that for a second, because I mean, I know who your teacher is, and I study your teacher, but hear me out. Dr. Clark said that religion can be used as a revolutionary weapon, but then it can also be used to put people to sleep. So I don't necessarily think that we as Black people, if we use it as a tool of liberation, then it can be used that way. But if it's being used to put us to sleep, then we gotta kind of like throw that part away. So I don't think it should be thrown away entirely. I mean, you know, it can be used for bad and it can be used for good.
Well, here's the thing. We were on 120. I mean, we were on 42nd Street. I was with Sanetta, and we was asking white people, do they believe in God or they have a religion? And they're saying no. A large amount of them said no. The question is that, and we live in 2022. In from now to 10 years, this Earth could be extinguished by a comet, right? Or asteroid or a meteorite, right? We're relying on scientists to possibly protect us, knowing full well that we are casualties. So what Dr. John Henry Clark said when he looked at history, he looked at the great movements, right? But he also noted they all failed. They simply all failed, or they in some cases they helped us survive a period, gave us hope. But the fact of the matter is there has not been except for the Haitian Revolution, right? There has not been a successful Black religious spiritual that was interested in controlling land and people and politics.
I gotta disagree with that one. The Haitian Revolution wasn't the only successful religious movement. There was also you probably know about them or you probably don't. You should look up the Mad Mahdi of the Sudan. He was a Sudanese revolutionary during the late 1800s who had used Islam. Like he literally fought the British with swords and spears, and he kicked them out of the Sudan, and he kept them out of the Sudan for 12 years because the British was trying to conquer and colonize them. So he kicked the British out using Islam. So I mean,
So you would look at that, and then you would look at it over time period. So the first part of Islam is that Islam does not it has no laws against slavery, and now it's dependent on one leader, but when that leader successes, then it's up to the next leader to continue that movement. Islam has not been a friend of African people and Black people. So
I just use one example.
yeah, I get your point. But at the end of the day, Islam has not been successful, has caused problematic parts. For example, Mansa Musa was a slaver, right? And then he took the route to the north, and then crossed over to the east on a route, and ultimately all of that benefited the Arabs coming in, and then later the Portuguese when they heard about the gold from the North African slave trade. So and Mansa Musa brought thousands of servants across a horrendous pilgrimage, and so what did we get from Mansa Musa? What did we get from that? So I don't disagree. It's hard to kind of disagree with your point of sporadic movements, but generally they have a beginning and an end.
Isn't that with everybody? I mean,
yeah, it's with all cultures and civilizations. But here's the thing. Here's the thing is in the time, for example, America has a pseudo religious thing that they're acting like they believe in, that they're a Christian nation, right?
Right.
But that's for the masses, and that's just for the masses. And America hasn't been around for that long of a period, right? In the history of nations. The Russian government is definitely not religious, right?
They're actually Orthodox Christian. But keep going.
Who is the Russian?
Yeah, Russia. They can scream like all they want to that they're atheists, but that the Orthodox Christian Church is just as old, or if not, well, it's almost just as old as the Slavic state itself. That's what Joseph Stalin, when he started killing priests and pastors during the Great Purges, the morale of Russia was going down. So he brought a lot of those priests back, and he found that I can't operate like this because he was a seminarian too. So, but they're Orthodox Christian. They can scream that they're Marxists, but that whole the soul of Russia.
Well, there may be some contradictions, but at the end of the day, Russia is famous. Soviet Union is famous for what you call culture-side. Their whole thing is to mold you into a tool in which they can use, no matter what your religion is. But the state is the God. So that's what you call a term called statism, where the state is actually the God. They can say yes or no what we believe and what we don't believe, what we're going to do and what we're not going to do, but the state is the God. So as far as Africa is concerned, yes, there are pockets, but I would say it's more sometimes cultural, and cultural includes sometimes the religion. So there are cultural revolutions, but they need more political ideology, more more of an education in politics. And then they're also disrupted because by groups and cultures that mercenaries that you can pay, right? So I don't think, I think, I think we're closer in this conversation than we are afar. I can accept those points of views, but I don't see. I see the state, having a state as the most important factor. Having a state that controls your economics and your politics and your culture. I see that more important than to saying that it's religious, because ultimately the state can manipulate a religion, like Rome did. Rome changed its faith, its religion, to Christianity so that it could manage the people.
Right. That's what I have a book that's called Black Folk Who Died for Jesus by Mark Hyman. And when he's talking about the Roman occupation of like North Africa, he said there were more African Christians being killed in the amphitheaters than the arena in Rome. And so, you know, when Hypatia and them got stomped out by them animals, Constantine, he was like, oh my God, I can count, you know, and he lied and said that there was a cross in the sky, and he made Christianity the religion of Rome to keep the state from, well, to keep the military apparatus going for another, I don't know how long it lasted after that, but yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, so statism is something that we do not study. State is ultimately, the state is God, right? So military in the United States, their commanding officer is their God, right? The president is the great God. So there's hierarchies, and so it becomes a military type religion. Rome was in fact that they had to keep the people happy, but the people were common people, farmers and uh, and craftsmen and things like that, and they had to keep those people happy, and they created this those concepts of the Colosseum and stuff like that is a way in which people can come together and get the message of the state and see some entertainment and be happy and be and in a society can be relatively wealthy off the expense of other groups of people. So, but Africans have a problem because they are their traditional religions were small, isolated. They were overcome by Islam and Christianity, and that is a common disruptive force on the continent of Africa. Don't go to Ghana. Don't go to Ghana. If you want to go to Ghana, you listen to them talk about the slave forts and the dungeons, man, all you're going to do is sing Jesus Loves. All you're going to see is a bunch of buses with Jesus on it and stuff like that. They're heavily Christian, and they're Europeanized. I mean, their courts, they still wear powdered wigs and stuff like that.
France, I'm sorry. Frantz Fanon, the author of The Wretched of the Earth, Black Skin, White Mass, and the Dying Colonialism, he says that in order to calm the natives down, religion, I mean, he says the saints are always propped up, and turning the other cheek is a philosophy that is used by the colonizer. So it's horrible what Europeans, especially the Spanish and the Portuguese and then the British, did to us, because that is something that African people all across the diaspora, we fail to recognize, you know, and it really clouts our thinking, political thinking a lot.
So when they went into the Congo, the Africans had a belief that they synchronized with Christianity. So they gave up their belief for Christianity. The synchronization. They did that in Ethiopia. People don't study Ethiopia. I think Chris Harris and I think it's another brother, Chris. They did a whole conversation on that Ethiopia didn't end the slavery of African people until 1942, right? So we don't want to see that. We don't want to see the caste systems. We don't know. We don't understand that Lalibela, the whole thing of Lalibela and King Lalibela and all of that was fighting against other African indigenous people, right? That's who they was fighting.
See, Ethiopia as like a country, they've never really historically in my reading so far, they never really adopted a almost like a Pan-African unity. One of the it's another guy you should look into. His name was the Mad Mullah of Somaliland, and he did the same thing that the Mahdi of the Sudan did. And when the British, led by Winston Churchill, a lot of people don't know this, but Winston Churchill, he started using air power on the Mad Mullah of Somalia. His name is Muhammad. Dad, my memory. But when the Mad Mullah of Somaliland was trying to retreat, he asked Haile Selassie's father, Ras McConan, can you give me reinforcements so we can kick these British out? And Ras McConan said no.
Absolutely not. Right. Absolutely not. And so, well, I think that you pretty well study. Your memory is actually a little bit better than mine. Doing all this type of work, you just some things that you used to know, you don't know and you don't read. But I think that you should do a presentation. The question is, I think that you've answered it for yourself. Does it work? There are pockets. There's potential, but ultimately, at the end of the day, there's going to be failure because you're depending on the philosophy and ideology of one leader or a group of leaders, and then when they get paid off, or they die, or they're usurped by the colonial governments or neo-colonial governments, right? Then Africa's in a worse situation. So I don't have an answer, and I'm not in Africa. I'm in the United States. So I wrote a plan for the United States. I don't. I see Africa as problematic. I mean, you can have great leaders for a time, but they're quickly assassinated. They're quickly there's coups going on now, right? So I don't have an answer yet for Africa, but I do have a problem with us being the richest slaves in the world, being in America, misusing our resources, knowing full well that our population has been shrinking, that other groups of people coming across the border, getting voting power, and what we've struggled for and suffered for, we are not going to get because we're just outnumbered. And so the European, the government that runs America, it's more favorable for them to have Mexicans and people from Peru and Venezuela come into this country, and they could make them Republicans or Democrats to keep the status quo. And Black folks, we are only 13-14% of this country. We may be more, but most of us don't even fill out the census, and we don't take vaccinations and stress. So yes.
Keep going. I didn't say anything.
Yeah. So the thing about it is that we don't. So our segue into a sojourn into Christianity has kept us passive and uneducated.
You know what's the sad part about what you saying, that we're like the richest slaves?
Yeah.
My mentor, Robin Walker, I remember I was talking to him. I talked to him like maybe like a year ago. He told me that that the Afro Jamaicans, you know, whether they be from Britain or, you know, from England, that they actually look at us as like a how should I say, a beacon almost. They because, you know, like we have like kind of the strongest activism out of all of the Africans across diaspora, and other people, they look at us like, I've known Afro Brazilians who've told me the same thing. They look at us as like a guide almost, but we haven't really. It's sad, man. We don't know what advantages we have, you
Right.
know, in terms of freedom, what we can do, what we can say, you know. But I think panels like this are rather important, you know.
Well, yes. I mean, it's these are thinking panels, but because we're deep in the muck of it, 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 really a panel like this before I get cut off from the panel and stuff like that. What it is that at the end of the day, it becomes a new religion of ideologues, and it has nothing to do with building unity. It's nothing, because we argue like on a platform like this. Man, I'm glad I'm talking to you for this few minutes, but it becomes very, very argumentative, and then on some of the other channels, I mean, you know, this other channel that I was thought I was helping a brother out and contributing information. He totally disrespects me, right? He totally disrespect me. I'm 56 going on 57, and he feels that he can just disrespect me. And he picks and chooses who he disrespects. And I'm like, okay, so you know, what's that about? Right? I think I try to be supportive, but you're being disrespectful. Because you disagree with some point I made. That means you would that means you would disrespect my elders. That means you would disrespected Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark. They weren't perfect in what they did. You would disrespected other groups of people. And why are you doing this? For YouTube money? For clout? Why are you doing this? Like, it'd be different if I banged on you personally, but I ain't banging on the person dude personally. But then it's funny is when you put me up in front of my elders, and you put me up in front of my elders like Dr. Small, Brother Small, or Dr. Leonard Jeffries, they'll tell you what I did in my life, right? That they witnessed in my life, and these other people try to insert themselves into something that no one could no one could say that they did this stuff, right? They try to insert themselves, and so Adrian, I'll say that